This is the e-learning podcast, episode number 53.
Basically, we as an organization helps them provide live certification courses in different modern skills domains such as entrepreneurship, digital marketing, to name some. And we, after the completion of the course, we also assist them in getting internships, in getting employment, and so on.
Welcome to the e-learning podcast. My name is Laddick, and I'm your host from lmspulse.com. My guest for today is Harsh Jain, a young bachelor in commerce from Delhi University who in 2019 decided with his brother to launch Escafate. With this education startup, Harsh seeks to increase opportunities both in academic and training achievement, as well as job finding and career development. Now, if these goals weren't ambitious enough, Escafate's mission is to offer these opportunities to people with disabilities, specifically focusing on the visually impaired. In this escalating conversation, Harsh and I talk about the massive upskilling and economic opportunity for people with different ability conditions in India and the role of education technology in providing these opportunities. We also talk about why Harsh believes that entrepreneurship is in the bloodstream of every Indian and the benefits of an entrepreneurial mindset for Indian learners, as they have to be sure they're learning how to solve real problems. And then finally, Harsh and I talk about why an entrepreneurial mindset is essential for him to make sure he's focusing on the real problems and creating valuable connections. But before we get started, a quick word from our sponsors.
The e-learning podcast is sponsored by the e-learning Success Summit. Learn from more than 40 experts how to teach, work, and learn online without being overwhelmed. Get your free ticket to the summit at elearningsuccesssummit.com and lmspulse.com, your best source for news, information, and resources for e-learning professionals for more than 10 years. Get our free roundup of the week's top news at lmspulse.com.
Hello, Harsh. Welcome to the e-learning podcast. How are you today?
Thank you, Laddick, for welcoming me. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Harsh, where do we find you sitting in the world today? It looks like you are in a small place with books, but where are you actually sitting?
Actually, I'm at Grand Pass because India is facing with the severe COVID issue. So recently, I've shifted to the village of a Madhya Pradesh state in India itself. So at my Grand Pass, there is a like beauty, mountain stuff, etc. So I am just separated with the big cities and all. So to live the little treasures of the life and also keep working remotely at the same time.
Nice. That's a great thing to be able to do. Yeah, excellent. Harsh, I've already talked a little bit about you in the introduction to the podcast here, but why don't you, in your own words, give us the 15 or 20 seconds about who you are, the organization that you run, and what you do.
Basically, a perfect example of me or perfect introduction of me will be like Harsh Jain, who is helping out spatially able learner out there by providing them and helping them in achieving their dream careers. Basically, we as an organization helps them provide live certification courses in different modern skills domains such as entrepreneurship, digital marketing, to name some. And we, after the completion of the course, we also assist them in getting internships, in getting employment, and so on. Because, like, usually the spatially able sector is being separated by the society, like it's not being given too much of attention in India, and like we are trying to focus on the same, and we are trying to work remotely with them so they don't feel like the transportation issues, any other issues, and we are working with its full accessibility, so at the same time they learn and they don't face any problem out there, and the same time they grow. So that's what sums up to be like me and my organization in production.
Fantastic. Thanks for that introduction. And you've already said it, but I actually use the podcast as something of a small time capsule about how we're doing with COVID around the world. You've moved out of the city. You said you're at your grandfather's house, I think. So what is the COVID situation like in India right now, as we talk about it here and on June 25th?
The situation is quite in control, but like they are talking about the third wave coming, like with a more genome syndrome, like Delta Plus variant, which can create some more issues in India. But we have to be at places with homes, like wearing masks. Whenever we go outside, we should make sure like we wear masks and sanitizers regularly. so that the situations remain in control. And like even if the third waves come, it like we tackle it quite easily. So currently the situation is controlled, but if we misses out with the security and the prevention part, then the situation might again get catastrophic because the third wave is on the frontier.
Mm.
So
Okay, yeah, no, it's been I've actually been recently listening to several news stories about how things have unfolded in India and the serum center and these kinds of things. So I'm hoping
yeah,
that they will improve their shortly. So
yeah, if everyone's just like use the preventive measures with the government and which everyone knows, it just wearing a mask, sanitizing your hand, washing your hands, and so on. So like the situation will definitely remain in like control, and everyone is getting vaccinated too. So both things are working parallelly to reduce the effects of like the COVID.
awesome. So my first question for you is, why accessibility? Why working with special needs individuals? Like, you seem like you're, uh, someone who's, as you said, you're a digital entrepreneur, you are a entrepreneur yourself. Why is there something special in your life? Do you have a connection to this in some way? Like, why did you choose this particular topic as as your venture?
Yeah, see, like personally, I have been very attached to this point because, like, what happens in India is, according to NPCB, there is like a national production control for visually impaired. Like, there is around 29% of the people from 12 billions of visually impaired. There is only 29% of the people who are literally employed. You can see there is a 71% of unemployment rate here in India if we talk about like just only for visually impaired community, not only the whole spatially able community, but just for the visually impaired community. Like the employment rate is just 29%. And what happens is why I'm personally attached to this is because of my best friend. He is himself a visually impaired and he was facing the same problem. Like he was getting lack opportunities. There was not employment opportunities for her. There was no internship assistance for
Mm.
her. There was no professional course, which ultimately which is ultimately accessible for visually impaired or spatially able learner out there. So we thought like this is a huge problem in India because 12 billion is a large population and there's a big numbers, and 29% population is just 29% of a population is it's just employed. So it's a very catastrophic and drought number. So we like seeing the problem like which my friend was facing. So we started with Escafate, and we made the like modern skills and modern courses accessible, and we provide them in a very short span of time, like around 1 month, 1.5 months. And we offer like modern skills and modern courses, for example, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, financial world, like access to financial world, marketing, advertising, psychology, etc. Because what happens is if we talk about like that 29% of the people who are employed are working in a telemarketing companies or in call center, etc., which is like it's not sustainable in future because the future is of artificial intelligence. So
Mm.
the number will be like getting more like the graph will go more down. So to work on the same, like so to make the graph go up, we are like putting our part. We are providing them certification courses live in professional career, so they upskill themselves and they like match shoulders of them with a normal and neighbor person without any disability, and they don't feel any lack of opportunity out there. So that's the main reason why we started Escafate. And as I talked, like I am personally attached to it because like my friend, like my best friend Ishan, who is also a co-founder of the same, was facing the same problem. So
Mm.
by seeing it, we started Escafate, and now currently we feels proud to say that like we have influenced more than 200 plus visually impaired learner out there, and now we are moving to other spatially able community too, so as to like help as many people as we can because their growth is our growth.
That's super cool. So, how when you sat down, it's really great that you have a subject matter expert, right? I mean, your
Mhm.
co-founder is someone who's affected by this and someone who has accessibility issues themselves. What was the first plan? How did you identify what are the, what are the specific needs that, outside of these digital skills? Like you said, most of the employed people are working as telemarketers or, in some sort of call center or something like that. How did you sit down and say, here are the skills that are missing or lacking? Was it Was there research done, or was it, just sort of life experience? Or
Like it was a mixture of both experience and the research done, because there was many friends of Ishan, like not only in India, like he has been connected from LinkedIn with other visually impaired from different countries. And what we assume, like in different countries, like visually impaired people has getting started learning some modern skills which we mentioned out here, like digital skills, which you may call out digital and soft skills. So basically we seen out there, like if they can do this, then why not they can do it in India,
Mm,
right? So we seeing the speed, like seeing the that part also, and by doing some research also, like how visually impaired or how spatially able person can pursue these courses and how we can make them accessible. And by learning out the things and by molding and a little bit molding the things, we found out like we can make them accessible and they can totally learn it just as a person without any disability. So we put out the experience and research part together and we are here.
okay. So what's the business model behind Escafate? Are you funded by a grant? Do individuals pay you a fee for your courses? Like, how does it work?
Like currently we have not been funded, but we are bootstrap. We started by ourselves, because like the reason of this, we didn't like felt any point of time we need a funding, because bootstrapping done the stuff. And talking about the business model, we operate basically in two type of business model. Like currently, first type of business model is where directly we sell courses to individual visually impaired learners out there. And secondly, we collaborate and connect with NGOs as our education partner, and we provide our services to them, and they ultimately provide to their community, so that our service don't remain just to the person who are financially stable and who can pay, but to also who belongs to the marginalized group and who can't pay for the courses. So we are not just focusing on the small part who can pay and just doing this for money thing, but we are ultimately making an impact by reaching out to the people who don't have even to pay, but they are like conscious and are like curious to learn about the stuff and they want to reach space or something. So that's how we work with two different models.
Okay, interesting. And what's your outreach plan? Have you just been relying on word of mouth, or are you actively advertising, or?
Yeah, we advertise through social media platform. We do email marketing. Currently, we just like is limited to inbound marketing, where we don't spend any money in marketing. But sooner or later, when we like will be in a place, we will start paid advertising.
Mm. Do you,
So usually through blogs, through video posts, through social media, through WhatsApp group community, because we have like found out from buyer persona, like where our audience relies, like which are the social media platform which they use the most. So we usually focus on that particular phase. So because it does not matter like if we waste our efforts by marketing at a platform where our audience does not exist. So we found out like where our audience exists through interviewing like our potential customer,
Mhm.
and created a buyer persona, and and by seeing like what channels they use the most, we market there the most. So it's the same.
Okay, excellent. And you said that 29% of people are employed and then 71% are not employed right now. Are, when you approach people, or when they see your social media, when they see, your advertising platform, is this something that, most of these individuals are immediately able to join, or, and say, oh, wow, of course, I know exactly how to go to the Escafate site and I know how to sign up? Or is there some sort of pre-education that needs to happen? I'm assuming that they have the same, the same skill sets as others, so what are the barriers to entry for joining you, or, you know, the challenges for people signing up with you?
the the basic challenge that come across is for motivation, because
Mm,
they feels like that like they can't pursue, like it's in their mindset like they can't pursue the modern careers, because like they have not seen any one of them like pursuing the same. Because for example, if we talk about Neanderthals or early age uh, people, like firstly when they have seen somebody doing the same, then they will start doing the particular same, and then it will form a community. So, for example, if I was a visually impaired and if I have not seen anyone pursuing entrepreneurship, pursuing digital marketing, then how I will motivate myself to do the same?
mm,
So, this is the basic challenge we face. So, we are in an early stage, and some early adopters are joining it, and like we are putting out the reviews of those customers out there, like how they're feeling after joining our course. So it's motivating the person who at first place felt like they can't do the same, do these courses and so on. And that's how we are solving the motivation problem. Second problem which might come is of accessibility, but we have taken several measures to make our websites and our product fully accessible. And even if someone come across like they are facing a little or serious like accessibility issue, we regularly update our softwares and websites, so the issues got solved on hand.
Mm.
So these are the major true problem which we feel. And I assume and I believe like in future months, in upcoming 1 or 2 months, these problem will be fully resolved, because now the people are taking our courses and we are putting out the reviews out there, so it's reaching to the people mind like, yes, people like me can also do the same. And by seeing the accessibility, they are motivated enough to join the same. So that's how the process goes.
So is there, with the courses that you're offering, is there a instructor component? Is it all self-paced learning? Is it like, what are the models for, when somebody comes into the Escafate system, are they taken through a very specific pathway? Is it a choose your own adventure? Like how does that unfold?
Yeah, basically there's like both combined instructor and self-learning model. Like basically we organize live courses, live classes. For example, if a course run for 1 month, so there will be 4 weeks of live classes, and there will be some learning content which they have to learn by their own. And if they face any doubt across the theme, they can ask the mentor in the live classes. So this is how like our models run. For example, like it depends on weeks. If course is for 1 month long, then there are 4 weeks, and we will be organizing classes on weekends, live classes on weekends. Will be mentoring the students on the stuff which is likely to taught to in a live class. So Saturday Sunday classes happens every Saturday Sunday, like till how long the course will run. And there is some learning material out there in the portal which they have to learn by their own. If they feel any problem along the same, they can ask the mentor in the live class.
Mm. What has been, do you have success stories, or do you have other, like review? You said you've been putting reviews out there and those kinds of things. Tell me about some of the success stories you've had from you said 200 or so people that have already taken your courses and gone through it. Have they been able to level up their careers? Have they changed jobs? Have they found jobs? These kinds of things?
Yeah. What happened recently? Hello, am I audible? Just I guess.
Oh.
Yeah. What happened recently is, so Mr. Thapa, a customer, joined Escafate by pursuing creative writing course with us. Okay. So she is of age 36. Still, she is motivated to do something new. She was currently working as an accessibility tester at some organization in Bangalore, and she wanted to start something of herself, like blogging and writing poetry in social media and something related to creative writing, right? So she took the courses with us, and now it's like the course has not been even completed, and she feels so much so much pleasure. Like she has started something of her own. Like she has started blogging. She has created her own page on Instagram, and she has created writing like poetry, and she even mails to the mentor, like mentor assign assignments to them during the live classes. So, and in the next classes, they even mails their poetries, their self-written poetries to mentor, so as to check on the their, so as to give the reviews about how they have written it and so on. So the course has not even been completed, but they are feeling a lot of advantages just by joining Escafate, and they are feeling like they have leveled up. So that's even from belonging to a digital field, working as accessibility tester. She was motivated in pursuing creative writing, and we assumed that there was no eligibility in any of a course, like anyone can learn anything. So just we mentored from the very basics, and now she feels like she can write blogs, she can write poetry, she can write even micro fictions and all. And in upcoming classes, she will learn about some more things. And ultimately, when the class will end, I hope to see her good places for them, and we will ultimately help her even in if she wants to set jobs to something into creative writing, we will help her in that also. So that's how like one of the success stories which I recently got.
I love it. That's fantastic. I love to hear people just getting this renewed energy. So is that why you chose entrepreneurship as the the emphasis, the platform for Escafate? I mean, you're teaching these skills about how do you lift yourself up. Is that, I mean, I hate to be sort of, talk about 1.4 billion people, like, but that's an Indian thing. I feel like entrepreneurship and, like go get it is, you can find that across the whole country. Would you disagree with that, or?
Yeah, entrepreneurship is like in every blood in the country. Like what like people feels like some people feels like the same. If you don't want any boss over you, if you don't want to work for people, they pursue entrepreneurship. But I would disagree here, because the real motive of entrepreneurship is to work for people, is to solve their problems,
Mm.
right? So like that's the main motive of like entrepreneurship, and I always wanted to solve real life problems of people by giving my part, by returning back to the society. So in by like when I was in age of 14, like I always helped my father in his business so as to learn new things, etc. And I learned most of the things from my father about the business. He taught me two of the most important thing I would disclose here. If you want to like keep your business happy, like if you want to make your business happy, then you should always try to make two of your stakeholders happy, like your employees and your customer, because those are very important to you. If you will make them happy, then ultimately business will ultimately make you happy. So
Mm.
that was a very great and very personal learning which I learned from father at a very early age. But at that time I don't feel like what does it mean, but today it's all making sense. So the real yeah so
I love that. I
entrepreneurship.
love that. I love that for you as well. You're like, well, when he told me that, I didn't really get it, but now I totally understand.
Yeah. So that's how like entrepreneurship has been. Like from a very early age I wanted to help people in real life problems. And when this problem came in front of me, like this is the literal problem which exists about the lack of employment and lack of opportunity in visually impaired people's life, then I could not stop myself for working towards the society, even though it does not matter how small we are, but our vision is very big. Our vision is to help every spatially able learner out there in the world to achieve his or her dream career. And we want them to achieve their dream career. We have been started like recently, but we are growing at a very good pace. And I hope like we will reach out to every spatially able learner out there, and we will help them in their journey. We will help them in getting out better in their employment, in their like helping providing them better opportunity, be it for like career, be it for anyone else. We would try to help them in every possible way, and ultimately will help them in achieving their dream career. So that's
Mm.
what the vision has done to us. So like entrepreneurship is just a journey which we are doing to achieve a like greater vision as an organization.
Awesome. Beyond the courses that you provide, what other types of advocacy do you do for accessibility for, people who have, let's just say, individuals with special needs and whatnot? As you said, there's clearly discrimination in India, right? There's an issue that needs
Yeah.
to be overcome. So what are there other types of advocacy that you do beyond sort of saying, look, we are a provider of a platform that helps to lift you up, or?
Like to talk about this, we don't do like separately these things, but we collaborate with some of the organizations which are currently working in different fields, and we try to help them in getting it better at that particular job, and will help them support by supplying our resources to them. So recently we have collaborated with Atypical Advantage. It is a platform. It is a world planet's first platform which which includes like a hirer and the hiree from the visually impaired community, from a spatially able community. So like it's a platform where employer will find employments from the visually impaired or spatially able community. So we have been collaborated with them, and we supply the resources from our side, the people which we have like skilled, and it will be placed by like atypical advantage. So we call in this way skilled by escapade and placed by atypical advantage. So it's a cool slang to use. And other than this, we regularly organize to several webinars and conferences to raise the awareness about this stuff, to raise the awareness about modern skills, like why it is important in terms of visually impaired, why it is important in terms of a spatially able community as a whole. We also organize webinars related to accessibility in collaboration with some NGOs, not only from in India, but from like London, from US also. Like recently we are in touch with like one NGO from London, and like we are in a place to become an education, that making that NGO become our education partner, and then we will be providing our services to their community. So like by collaborating by different webinars, we put our part in different shoes too. And in organizing webinars, we tried by organizing webinars and conferences, we try to raise awareness about this.
Mm. How often do you update content or review or add new courses? Like, do you have a plan or a game plan to create this giant library of opportunities, or are you satisfied with the courses that you have available today? What's the plan there?
Yeah, I've never been satisfied with the courses which we have. It's always like to grow into a large community, a community where it can fulfill every our dream career. Because our vision is to fulfill every spatially able person dream careers, and their dream careers can be very different. They won't be restricted to 6 or 7 careers which we are providing. So
Mm.
we are in a plan to like diversify our courses, not only to the limited ones which I talked about, like entrepreneurship, digital marketing, psychology, etc., but to like to make a community where every person, every visually impaired person can come to and can learn any career which he wants to pursue or she wants to pursue. So like moving on how we are working for the plans, like we regularly organizes like interviews with potential customers with the visually impaired community out there, and we find out like what is their interest in, what are the careers they are interested in, and what is the ultimate position they want to end in. So by seeing the commonalities, we find out the some like courses or the careers which they are interested in, and by working with the professionals, we design those courses and then launch out the same on our website. So that's how the plan. And in future, like we are also working to collaborate with universities. So they also help us in this part and provide not only like some short minimum duration courses like certification courses, but also like major degrees courses, like because it becomes difficult for like spatially able or visually impaired community out there to go to colleges to attend lectures, because they have to travel, and that's where the real issues lies. Even though we create several technology, but that issue will lie there. And even the people's other way, like they try to empathize with them, but they don't need empathy. So the real problem also exists in traveling sort of stuff. So we are trying to make the whole education system like online at Escafate. Like we are trying to collaborate with university to bring their like the courses they provide, for example, bachelor's degree, master degrees, also in an online platform, and provide the same to the visually impaired or spatially able community out there. So that's our future vision and
Mm.
mission, but we are working for the same.
Super cool. It sounds like just a ton of work. I'm really excited for you. Final question for you, Harsh. You've built this platform. You have a community that's growing. People are interested in this. You're getting success stories. What are you most excited about for the next, let's just say 6 months to 12 months? Are you going to be implementing new technology? As you said, you have a game plan for continuing to build out your courses and building the community. What keeps you going, and what are you excited about for 2022?
There are basically two things which I am very interested about, like 2022, if we talk about in terms of Escafate. Firstly, we are working on achieving like 1,000 customers. So
Mm.
like that's our very first goal. Like I think in next 2 or 3 months we will be achieving them, and I have promised my employees and with the friends which I work in, like I will sponsor a trip to them. So that's the thing which I'm personally very interested in. Like once we have achieved 1,000 customer, I will be sponsoring a trip to them, so they feel like yeah we have achieved something, and they feel like as I said, like my father said, always keep your employees happy. So that's a part which I'm putting in to make them happy. And the second thing which I'm very interested about is the same thing. Like by next year, we will try to like bring at least 3 bachelor's degree on the platform as Escafate. So that's the big plan for the next 2022, and we are working for the same by collaborating with some of the university who are taking a major role in accessibility sector, and we are working with them to leverage the platform to provide at least 3 bachelor's degree to the person with disability. That's what in the demand, like that's what been the most in demand by visually impaired people. So we are trying to bring those degrees online, so that they feel like they can pursue the same degree from their home as from their own comfort without getting any problem. So that's the two things which I'm very interested in.
Wow, 1,000 customers and 3 degree programs in the next year. That is an incredible. That's a high bar. That's amazing. That's really great. I can't tell you how excited I am for you. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much, Steve. And I wish all the luck to best for my team and for myself also to keep working for the same and we achieve a great success out there in next few months. Like because we are working for something good, what you would love, like it reaches to ultimate people out there who are definitely seeking the solution to the problems there. So thank you so much, Stephen, for having me. I'm so glad that we are here and we discuss about so much about the problem that exists and the solution which we are facing.
Thank you, Harsh. Have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful day. Thanks again for tuning into today's episode of the e-learning podcast. If you like what you heard, please do me the favor of following us on LinkedIn, Twitter, or whichever social media you prefer. Also, if you're interested in diving deeper on e-learning, I encourage you to get your free ticket to the e-learning success summit, where there are more than 70 hours of presentations on best practices. Just go to elearningsuccesssummit.com. And then finally, for the latest news, information, and resources about e-learning, come subscribe to our newsletter at lmspulse.com. Thanks.